The day Marvel Studios announced Ryan Reynolds' departure sent shockwaves through both superhero fans and the entire entertainment industry. In a cinematic universe where unwavering loyalty to marquee actors is standard practice, losing a star of Ryan's stature felt almost inconceivable. Yet, his abrupt dismissal followed the emergence of new evidence, widely referred to as receipts, brought to light by filmmaker Justin Baldoni, who was deeply entangled in a contentious feud involving Ryan's wife, Blake Lively. The pressing question on everyone's mind was unmistakable. How could one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, primed to lead major Marvel projects, be terminated so suddenly? Speculation about tensions between Ryan and Marvel executives had circulated for some time. The murmurs grew louder after the controversy surrounding a high-profile film adaptation directed and co-written by Justin. Initially, many assumed the drama was limited to a dispute between Justin and Blake, driven by creative clashes and alleged power struggles. However, with Marvel's announcement, the narrative shifted dramatically. It suggested that Ryan's behind-the-scenes role was far more significant than previously believed, enough to put his future in Marvel's billion-dollar franchise at risk. To grasp the magnitude of this fallout, it's essential to revisit its origins. Justin Baldoni had earned a strong reputation for creating emotionally resonant stories that connected with broad audiences when he took on the challenge of directing a film adaptation of a beloved novel. Anticipation was high as viewers looked forward to his take on the poignant source material. Blake Lively, celebrated for her charm in interviews and effortless red carpet presence, was cast in a leading role. At first glance, the collaboration seemed ideal. Justin's heartfelt storytelling paired with Blake's accessible star power only heightened excitement among fans. While promotional clips framed the project as uplifting and inspiring, tensions surfaced early on. Insiders hinted that Blake became frustrated with Justin's expansive involvement. He wasn't just directing, but also co-writing the script and set to play a key role in the film. I'm honored, and even more so because what we're discussing is so meaningful. The anticipation and excitement surrounding it, so many people eager to see it and talk about it, that's what I'm truly grateful for. And you played a key role in bringing it to the big screen. How did it all come together? Justin reflected. Hollywood is no stranger to creative clashes, but on this set, tensions seemed to escalate unusually fast. Rumors soon emerged that Blake felt overshadowed, believing Justin was monopolizing the spotlight. At first, casual observers saw it as typical on-set friction, likely to fade after filming. Then came a twist. Blake suddenly accused Justin of deliberately undermining her reputation, alleging he had leaked stories to the press portraying her as difficult, temperamental, or demanding. Initially, the industry leaned in Blake's favor. Behind-the-scenes feuds fueled by strategic leaks were nothing new, and her claims struck a chord with those who argued that male directors in Hollywood often have the power to undermine female leads. Suddenly, headlines and social media conversations painted Justin as an overbearing presence, eclipsing a star who simply wanted her voice to be heard. The tide shifted when Justin's team released text messages that contradicted Blake's claims. The messages revealed that she had been making her own demands while openly citing her husband's influential network. She even referred to these powerful connections, including Ryan, as dragons, a clear nod to the formidable support she could call upon if her expectations weren't met. The log suggested she was pushing for script changes, influencing marketing strategies, and shaping public perception. This revelation undermined her claim of feeling sidelined, instead portraying her as a powerful force actively steering the project from behind the scenes. As the drama unfolded, Ryan's involvement remained uncertain. It was unclear whether he was actively engaged, or if Blake was invoking his name without his direct consent. Many speculated that the comedic star was deliberately staying out of his wife's professional disputes, especially since he had remained publicly silent. But that perception shifted when new materials emerged, messages suggesting Ryan had played a role in undermining Justin's authority and shaping the narrative in Blake's favor. Ryan's image is built on humor and goodwill, but the logs painted a different picture, one of a co-strategist rather than a passive bystander. Snippets revealed references to calls with powerful contacts, suggestions for leaking damaging details about Justin, and even ideas to frame Blake as the misunderstood hero in the narrative. Marvel values stable, controversy-free relationships with its key actors, especially those portraying beloved characters. Ryan's comedic charm had become integral to his identity within the franchise. However, if the studio continued to support him despite evidence of unethical behavior, particularly actions that undermined a respected filmmaker, it risked backlash from fans, cast members, and potential collaborators alike. Then came the turning point. Marvel executives gathered to review Justin's newly released receipts. Though not immediately made public, the evidence reportedly painted a damning picture of Ryan's role, directly confirming his coordination with Blake to shape press coverage and sway public opinion against Justin. Meanwhile, speculation swirled that the messages hinted at something bigger, suggesting a broader pattern of influence, where Ryan and Blake leveraged industry connections for personal and professional advantage. That was the breaking point. In a decision no one saw coming, Marvel chose to part ways with Ryan, abruptly ending a partnership once destined for massive box office success. The studio's official statement offered a brief but pointed explanation, citing a review of newly disclosed information and concluding that Ryan's position was no longer viable. Fans were taken aback by the statement's stark tone. Unlike Marvel's usual upbeat or carefully worded announcements, this one was strikingly firm and final. Social media instantly erupted with shock, disbelief, and a flood of questions. How had a star with such a massive following and a spotless comedic reputation ended up being dismissed by the very studio that once championed him? As fans demanded answers, Justin remained composed and measured. He refrained from gloating or taking public jabs at Ryan or Blake. Instead, he released additional logs to clarify the timeline of events, emphasizing that his goal was not to vilify anyone, but to defend his professional integrity and protect the production team. Marvel needed to protect its franchise if the allegations risked damaging its integrity or public image. As the dust settled, Hollywood remained deeply divided. Some argued that Marvel had overreacted, calling the decision extreme. Couldn't the situation have been managed through PR strategies or carefully crafted apologies? After all, Ryan was a major box office asset. Others viewed Marvel's decision as a necessary stand for accountability. If a star of Ryan's caliber had indeed worked to manipulate the narrative against a respected director, it undermined core professional ethics. Some in the industry privately welcomed the move, arguing that powerful couples had wielded unchecked influence for too long. The reasoning was simple. If Disney's superhero juggernaut, the biggest force in pop culture, held Ryan accountable, it could set a precedent, discouraging behind-the-scenes power plays in other major productions. For Justin, the initial feeling was one of vindication. He maintained that his goal was never to punish individuals, but to expose the behind-the-scenes tactics that had jeopardized his creative vision. It's about believing that people and humanity are inherently good and crave nourishment for the soul, just as they do for the body, he reflected. While some viewed Ryan's firing as an unfortunate loss, others saw it as a necessary step to restore balance. Crew members, production assistants, camera operators, and others who had witnessed the tensions firsthand quietly expressed relief. They recalled how minor conflicts often escalated into elaborate grievances, only to resurface in gossip columns. To them, the newly revealed receipts confirmed suspicions that a more deliberate effort had been at play. By this point, Blake had withdrawn from public view. Once active on social media, frequently sharing glimpses of her family life, she suddenly fell silent, fueling speculation that she and Ryan were scrambling to contain the fallout. Sources close to her suggested she was devastated by Marvel's decision, seeing it as a personal blow. Others claimed she was doubling down, insisting that Justin had distorted the truth. Yet, with so much evidence now circulating, her efforts to paint Justin as the antagonist felt increasingly unconvincing. Fans who had initially defended her began to reconsider, citing the released logs as a stark reminder that the situation was far more complex than it first appeared. Meanwhile, media coverage dissected every angle. Talk shows debated whether Ryan could repair his reputation or if his once bulletproof comedic brand had suffered lasting damage. Movie analysts noted the irony. Marvel, known for its loyalty to leading actors, was now embroiled in a very public fallout. Some speculated that Ryan could craft a classic Hollywood comeback story, while others, more skeptical, argued that the rift with Marvel was too deep to mend quickly, especially given how thoroughly the controversy had dominated headlines. Behind the scenes, studios quietly reassessed the risk of working with Ryan in the fallout. Numerous projects had banked on his star power, but now executives feared that moving forward could entangle them in controversy, especially if more damaging evidence emerged. While a comeback wasn't out of the question, Hollywood thrives on reinvention, a phase of cautious distancing seemed unavoidable. Industry reporters who had covered past controversies drew comparisons to other stars who had faced sudden and dramatic downfalls. The key distinction was Ryan's comedic persona, which had long given him an everyman appeal. His witty banter never seemed to carry malice, but the leaked messages, which critics labeled part of a smear campaign against a respected director, forced fans to reconcile his lighthearted public image with the possibility of calculated behind-the-scenes manipulation. The message was simple: as men, we must embrace every part of what makes us human. That's it, no complications. With Marvel's official decision, the documents spoke for themselves. The bigger question now loomed: who would replace Ryan? Recasting a character mid mainstream is always a challenge, especially when an actor is so closely tied to a role. Marvel had built extensive plans around him, with some rumored to stretch far into the franchise's future. Scrapping or rewriting projects would mean major financial losses, and fans rarely take recasting lightly. Yet keeping Ryan was no longer an option. His abrupt dismissal made it clear Marvel prioritized its stance over profits. When trust with an actor is broken at this scale, moving forward can lead to even greater risks down the line. Ironically, despite the controversy, Justin's adaptation moved forward, though under a media storm. As details of the conflict emerged, curiosity about the film only grew. Some cynics speculated that the drama might even boost its box office appeal. But for Justin, the real victory was safeguarding his creative vision. He refused to let the film's promotion hinge on Ryan's downfall or Marvel's decision, insisting that the project be judged on its own merit rather than becoming a mere subplot in a larger scandal. What remains uncertain is how Ryan will respond once the dust settles. Will he issue a definitive apology, perhaps arguing that some messages were taken out of context or that his role was overstated? Could he attempt a sincere reconciliation that might, in time, reopen doors with Marvel? Or is this a break so final that no amount of damage control can repair it? Given the weight of Marvel's decision, the latter seems most likely. The studio rarely severs ties so publicly, preferring to handle controversies behind the scenes. Taking such a firm stance suggests that, after thorough internal discussions, Marvel reached an undeniable conclusion. Moving forward with Ryan was simply no longer an option. Meanwhile, Justin remains steadfast, letting the disclosures speak for themselves. Rather than celebrating Ryan's exit from Marvel, he has maintained a quiet resolve. Despite the ordeal's challenges, it reinforced the importance of transparency and collaboration in an industry often shaped by behind-the-scenes deals and strategic PR. While he may not have anticipated the situation escalating to this level, his approach set a precedent, proving that when faced with selective narratives, presenting the full context can be a powerful response. At the core of this drama lies an undeniable lesson. No celebrity persona, no matter how humor-driven or beloved, is immune to serious allegations backed by hard evidence. Ryan's comedic charm once seemed untouchable, earning him favor with both mainstream audiences and Hollywood executives. Yet beneath the wit were complex dynamics. His rapid fall from Marvel's favor, shifting from a cherished star to an ousted actor, has prompted the industry to reevaluate its assumptions about influence, alliances, and the carefully crafted illusions that sustain stardom. For now, the saga ends with Ryan's sudden departure from the very studio that once championed him. New narratives will inevitably emerge. Speculation about legal action, whispers of behind-the-scenes negotiations, or even a carefully crafted mea culpa attempting to recast the controversy as a misunderstanding. But regardless of what comes next, this chapter serves as a stark reminder. In an age of relentless documentation, texts, emails, and unfiltered logs, no one is safe from evidence that dismantles a carefully curated public image. And when a powerhouse like Marvel decides those revelations are too damaging to ignore, the door can close with startling and absolute finality.